Exciting news in the world of Valheim today. Let's get right into it. Irongate released a Steam blog today called Lighting the Forge. This video is sponsored by HostEZ. HostEZ provides dedicated server hosting with the right amount of high-quality hardware and bandwidth that you need for a smooth experience. See the link and discount code below to get your server set up and start playing with your friends right away. They talk about how they enjoyed seeing how everyone seemed to be excited about the peaks of the buildings they've been showing, which has caused a definite stir in the community. They also mentioned some of the other teaser pics that have been popping up here and there, giving us little peeks into the Mistlands, and talk about how some are more revealing than others, like this mystery piece of code that Jonathan put up. Yeah, that doesn't really tell us anything. They also mentioned not wanting to miss the big trap that Jonathan showed, and it definitely got a lot of people's attention. Before you get too scared of this 400 damage, Jonathan did remind people that this is a work in progress, and that number is probably going to change because that's too high. But it does also show that this can be a trap for mobs or for other players, which could add an element of a lot of fun into the game. I wonder if these will always snap you or if you have to have PvP on for it to work to actually kill a player. But I wondered about this too because Robin has talked about us getting base defenses, but he also mentioned that Jonathan was working on a side project, as Jonathan tends to do, and that it may end up in Mistlands or possibly could come out sooner, but it may end up in Mistlands. And so I was wondering, is this part of the base defenses that they have mentioned in general, or is this his little side project? So I checked with him and he said, yeah, this is some of the base defenses coming with Mistlands. Some of the base defenses. So there's going to be more than one type of base defense coming to Mistlands. And his little side project is still a side project, so we don't know what that is yet. But we knew that some kind of base defenses were going to be coming. And it reminded me of part of a conversation that I had with Grimcore about this very thing in one of my Playing with a Dev episodes. Check out this little snippet of it. But, I mean, like, I know a lot of people would like to have different types of base defenses to use or traps for them and different things like that. I think it might be cool to have like some base defenses that you could use against them in different ways. Like, I mean, you had said there's a possibility of drawbridges at some point in the future, right? And then like your logo is an iron gate that like comes down and closes, right? Like, because points of entry are weak points, right?
Yes. Drawbridge. We wanted to put in a drawbridge during Hearth and Home.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, but what was the reasoning there? We needed to test it a bit more because that was something like, let's keep that for the end. Let's see if we have more time, and let's see if we can put that in. But we were a bit afraid that because if you build a door, it's very linear in its animation, so it'll open up. Okay, so if we just go over to this door over here, let's see if it actually works. So you stand on one side,
Right.
and go up just up to the door. So if I push this up, you get pushed away.
Right.
We're afraid that the way that open it now. See if so I get pushed away. I'm not sure if this was the reasoning, but the drawbridge would go vertically instead, up and down. So we were a little bit afraid. We haven't tried it yet, but the way that the things are animated inside of Unity, because this is not animated in Blender, the doors. It's an animation thing in Unity. We were afraid that if you stand on top of the door, on top of the what's it called?
The drawbridge?
The bridge, and someone else presses the button, that you'd fly away.
Well, that
basically.
could be fun.
Yes, that is true.
I'm being.
Uh,
If you want to see that full Playing with the Dev episode, I'll put a link to it in the description below. So I get asked about the idea of drawbridges pretty often, and here Grimm's talking about not only are they planning on doing drawbridges, but they had wanted to have them come out at Hearth and Home. Well, it's been a minute since Hearth and Home, so whatever kinks they wanted to work out, I would bet money that they could have gotten them worked out by now. And because Jonathan mentions base defenses, that means there's going to be more than one. So I think there's a real good chance that one of the parts of base defenses could potentially be a drawbridge. What do you guys think? What kind of base defenses do you think that we should get included in Valheim? They also go on to talk about how they have this sword and shield in the office now. Richard's having a little bit of fun with it. They talk about using it as inspiration and for looking at cooler attack animations. But yeah, I think it's in large part for them to have fun with it. I don't know if that's going to be the inspiration to get that hand turned the right way on the knife attack. And here's the really big exciting part of the news today. Now they do clarify that this is concept art, but a lot of their concept art ends up looking pretty spot on in the game, I think. They talk about this being a new crafting station, which you need to craft many of the Mistlands tier weapons. Which only makes sense, because each biome that we've gone up, we get new materials, we get new workstations. We get something to advance our character and the tools that they're going to be needing to use in that next biome. But I love the look and feel of this. It's got some really cool textures on it. When I look at this, the first thing that I think is black metal. This could be another use for some of that black metal. I'm sure we're going to be getting other things to do with the black metal. Or does it look more like stone to you? It's definitely shaped like stone on the bottom. So maybe it could be using some of the stone that we're going to be getting in the Mistlands. That Robin has referred to as black marble. But I don't know, the marbling in these structures seems really evident as looking like marble with the white in it. But look at the top of this bridge. The top of this bridge is a more rough-hewn kind of look. And to me, that matches what the top of this workstation looks like exactly. Plus we see this color of the trim around here again, and that looks like the same type of trim that we have seen on the pics that we've seen on other items that are going to be coming. Of course, we don't know what this metal is yet. I'm still thinking it's going to be a new type of metal that we get in the Mistlands. We've gotten a new type of metal for every biome that we've gone up, and I don't see that changing this time. Then they also talk about how it's been too long since we got some new fungi to discover. Other than the regular mushrooms we already have, you'll soon be able to cook with a couple of Mistlands variants as well. Exactly what those recipes are, they're keeping to themselves for now, which is to be expected. Although they have mentioned that they had wanted to use bats possibly in a recipe, but didn't really know how to make that work when caves came out. So maybe that'll be an ingredient that is combined here as well if we get something from a bat that's changed that we could put into a recipe. I love the look and feel of these mushrooms. I guess we're calling them mushrooms. They both look glowy, which is always genius for base decoration. We get new colors, which is always genius for base decoration. We can put the other mushrooms on item stands, so it would stand to reason that we could these as well. Look at the colors in this one on the left with the purple and blue. That is just beautiful. It makes me think of fairies. Like, I love it. That's so pretty. And the one on the right is super interesting too. It looks very bulbous. And look at the color and texture and these little dendrite looking things on it. 100%. This reminds me of these dungeon entrances. It's the same color. It looks like the same gooey stickiness. It has these same little dendrite type of I mean, I don't know. I call it like it's neuron looking. It's probably not anything to do with neurons, but that's the shape that it looks like to me. It's definitely sticky, icky. So yeah, these are definitely related. Those bulbous mushrooms, I think, have got to be inside this cave. They talk about how they're still working on a patch to deal with the issues with cloud sync. They think this is important to get done before releasing Mistlands, which is probably true. People don't want to be losing their games. And then they also mentioned that this technical patch isn't taking time away from development of the new biome of Mistlands, because I know people are always worried about that. And they are too. This month's build of the month is by Ariandor with this beautiful longhouse. And it is beautiful indeed. Love the details of having little things sitting around. And even some of the fences are broken. That's a nice touch. Makes it seem more alive. Then Grim gave us one more little sneak peek, saying, hey, we are doing good. The food is awesome here. Had some mead last night. Went skinny dipping today with a friend. From Mistlands with love. P.S. Please restock the meat chest. Make sure Major is getting my hugs. Also, play with George. Major is Grimcor's Lux from his movie A Lux and I. And George is from a little video he did early on for Iron Gate, which is adorable. Hashtag more George. I'll put links for both of those in the description too. If you haven't seen them, you definitely need to go check them out. So looking at this picture a little bit closer, we get to see some of the grass, some of the plants that are coming. Ferns are common in some of the other biomes as well, and these are a little bit different look with a little bit different color, which is nice. There's a bigger plant coming out up here. So yeah, it just shows us a little bit of the bushes and vegetation on the way in the Mistlands. You can see some mist up here in the edge, so even though it's sunny in some spots, it's definitely misty around the edges, I guess. Also in Valheim news, this last week Valheim got named Best Debut at the Nordic Game Awards. Well deserved, and they got high praise, including their being a little modest, showing yes, they did win Best Debut, but look at this. They not only won Best Debut, they got runner-up in Best Game Design winner, runner-up in Best Audio, runner-up in Game of the Year, and look at this high praise that they get on the website. It's hard to imagine a debut game making a bigger splash than this did. In a time where friends seemed further away than usual and things were looking dark all around, this game brought joy, adventure, and collaboration into the lives of millions of people. High praise indeed, and well deserved. It's all true. News on the Happy Gamer server. We still have our May Flowers event running until the end of the month, and then the best overall prize will be voted for by chat during stream on June 1st. And we have a hardcore mystery event coming up this Friday. I am very much looking forward to this. I very much think there will be a lot of gravestones. If you're interested in joining the Happy Gamer server, check the links below for Discord or Patreon. Happy gaming!